Hello and welcome to Lesson 3 in the Intro to the Journalism class. This one we're going to get into what most of you have signed up for this class about is news writing. At least we're going to start on the writing aspect now. It'll be all different types of writing we're going to examine. News writing, feature writing, writing for digital, things like that. But today we start taking those steps into learning about writing. The chapter and the PowerPoint both are very good about explaining how writing comes about, what's involved in it. Pay special attention to things like the 5 W's and the 1 H. You should be versed on what those stand for, what they mean. As practice, you might look up a lead of a story and try to identify all the 5 W's and the 1 H. You might see that appear on a test somewhere. You also will hear about the inverted pyramid, which is kind of the basic news writing style with the most obvious, the most important information goes at the top, and the farther down you get the story, the less important the details are, because you don't want to reverse it and have everybody wait until the end. This is not like a movie with a big climax. This is a news story. You want to give people that information right at the top, so in case they don't finish the whole story, they will at least glean some information out of what they've read to that point. Also remember, you're going to learn a little bit about leads and the nut graph. The nut graph is the second most important part of a news story. The lead, of course, is the first paragraph, which tells people the essence of the story. The nut graph kind of gives you a summary of everything that's involved in it. It may be to give context to the story. Say that whatever this incident was you're writing about, this is another episode in a long history of things. So say like this weekend, Hillary Clinton emails came out. The lead will say new emails came out, but the nut graph would probably say something about this is another chapter in the email saga involving Hillary Clinton and her time at the State Department. That's a nut graph. It kind of gives some clarity to what's going on. So learn about those. You also will learn a lot about editing here. We'll read about editing, which is just as important as the writing aspect. If you have a good editor, and I have had a couple of good editors, they can really they can polish your story up really well, get rid of unnecessary words and things like that. Make sure you go through all the material that's in that folder and the exercises that are there. The other thing you can do, and something I try and advise writers all the time, is that a good writer is a very good reader, and you need to be reading newspapers and magazines, news magazines, to pick up styles of writing. The only way to really learn about it is either write it yourself or read other good writers and learn how they do it and see what they do in their material. And you can Google, top feature writers, top news writers, top news stories, and see how their approach is to those stories. That's the way you kind of learn. I'm a big Stephen King fan. I learned a lot about my writing by reading his material and trying to imitate that, and there's nothing wrong with that. You don't plagiarize it, but you try and write in that style when it comes to being descriptive, when it comes to describing a scene, those kinds of things, word usage, things like that. Using a big vocabulary is okay, but sometimes you can write over a person's head. So you just take it easy. You just take it a little at a time and ease into it. The next week after this lesson, I think I will have the security chief ready to go, and you'll be able to see a mock press conference and write a news story out of that. I know it's a short week, and I've kind of lengthened the deadlines to get things done because Monday you guys should be celebrating the holiday. You don't have to be stuck in a room with a computer. So come back Tuesday. I think the material can get done pretty quick. And enjoy yourself. Again, if you have any questions, email me. I'll try and get in on these discussion boards and either comment on what you're having to say or add another little point to the discussion that you can look at and comment on, or just read and take a look at. Anyway, have a good holiday, and we will be back with you next week. Thanks.